Rajju Sarpavad Aatmaanam Jeevam Jnatvaa Bhayam Vaheth Naaham Jeevah Paraatma iti Jnateschet Nirbhayo Bhaveth. As one who regards a rope as a snake, so too one regarding oneself as an ego is overcome by fear. I am not the ego but the Supreme Self. Naaham Jeevah Paraatmeti iti. If he realizes this, he becomes fearless, Nirbhayo Bhaveth. An attempt is made in this verse to relieve the intellect of the burden placed upon it by falsely created sense of I. The burden is simply all the fears resulting from the misplaced identity of oneself as an individual. These are shown in this universe to be unnecessarily taken upon one's shoulders when in reality they do not even exist. Rajju Sarpavad Aatmaanam, the rope snake analogy. In this simile, a rope is seen and misidentified as being a snake. The resulting fear that grips the person beholding this has no basis, as it arises from pure delusion. The rope is not even aware of the existence of the snake, so it cannot be held responsible. It is the individual consciousness or the ego which has to bear the responsibility of the consequences for this deluded perception. Individual consciousness, when it is perverted, it becomes ego. The rope is our true identity, the self or the Atman. The mistaken identity as a snake is our mistaken notion of our ego. I am this Jeeva. The burden of fears represent the entire range of deluded perceptions arising from this ego consciousness. Removing the venom of snake's bite is overcoming the notion that I am this Jeeva. You are bitten by the poisonous bite of the black cobra. The only remedy is to drink the nectar. I am pure self. We just went through this in the Ashtavakra Gita verse, Nyagnya. Freedom or fearlessness is the state of realization that I am the changeless, birthless, deathless, pure self. Fearless is when there is no challenge anymore. Fearless is actually synonymous with oneness. Who do you fear the least? Yourself. In other words, in simple words, one can be afraid only if there is a second, third, fourth, multiple other entities other than himself, oneself. If there is nobody else other than himself, the pure Aham, pure Atman, then from where or by which entity, by which factor the fear can be caused when there is none other than me, nothing apart from me, no creation apart from me. When a Jeeva exists with his mistaken identity as Jeeva, he suffers from all 6 negative qualities, kama, krodha, etc. The Jeeva, under his own delusion and imagined fear, suffers from the consequences of such fear. The real fear of the snake is due to the venom in its bite. The sage solves the problem by removing the venom from the snake's bite. The venom lies in the sense of egoism that heads in the whole web of delusion. In the Ashtavakra Gita verse, we understood that the outcome or the impact of this venom is the action taken by us due to and with our influenced by what? The ego. Hence, the ego sense in a sage is rendered toothless. A sage may have the body, he may have the physical identity, he may walk and talk on the earth, but there is no venom within him, there is no ego within him. Therefore, there is no negative action, poisonous action, ego-filled action which can emanate from that sage, because the venom is no more there upon his realization of self. The snake has been burnt and is there only in appearance. It cannot do any harm. A burnt snake may still look like a snake, but it cannot do anything. The sage's egoism is like that. It is just enough to go on functioning in this world. It serves only as an operational function, but really there is no venom in it. The venom of selfishness has been transformed into the nectar of universal vision, a new dimension of the venom and the antidote of venom nectar in this verse. A burnt rope cannot be used to tie anything. The moment it is touched, it crumbles to ashes. Similarly, the sage's ego, if you say it is there, it is burnt. It cannot tie him to this world anymore. The sage is freed from the bondage to this world. His sanchita karma is burnt, and thereafter his ego is also burnt to ashes. It can no more be retrieved. It can no more be brought back to the shape of the snake with the venom poison in it. Whereas an ignorant person's ego is full of venom. If he is criticized, he will seek revenge on the one who criticizes him. He will try to bite back with venom. In our life, like the illusory snake, the gross and the subtle bodies are perceived as real. And in this ignorance, due to ego and due to ego-filled actions and the outcome or the impact of such actions, the karma accumulated, one seems to experience sorrows. The superimposition of the snake vision on a rope takes place only when the existence of the rope is not perceived. Similarly, all the miseries arise only due to the ignorance of one's own nature. But once one realizes the true nature of self as that of bliss, there are no emotions, no feelings, nor any misery. Like the fear of the illusory snake vanishing on seeing the rope in light, all the miseries vanish and there is but bliss. In a jnani, there are no such feelings, no such reactions. He knows when this is to the context when he is criticized. When the world shoots arrows of censure and criticism on him, he knows he has been criticized. He can hear, and he can see like any other. But he remains indifferent to it, understanding that it is only a thought current passing through. He has no fear of criticism. The fearlessness of the sage tantamounts to complete liberation from all bondage. Because the jnani has arisen above egoism, he sees the correct picture of all the facts listed in the previous verse. He knows that the consciousness expressing through his intellect is a reflection of the self, Chit Abhasa. Hence, he is not disturbed by any wave produced in it, such as the crest of praise or the trough of criticism. The ultimate realization or the ultimate state is that state where, for once and for all, this analogy repeated 1,000 times leaves, prostrates and leaves the jnani forever. In that state, there is neither snake nor rope. Regarding the snake, we have learnt enough all these years that there is no snake. That means no snake aspect. No snake means there is no ego or delusion, ignorance in us, in our real, true nature. But how come we are saying that there is no rope either? This becomes a little difficult to understand because till now in Vedanta, we happily got rid of the snake illusion only upon realizing that there is only rope, there is no snake. But now he says there is no rope either. How come? Rope's identity is only with respect to the snake. Knowledge or wisdom is only with respect to ignorance or avidya. Rope awareness, that is awareness of the reality, is relevant only with respect to the misapprehension that I am this ego, carried on for many births by the Jeeva. When the misapprehension is gone, then ultimately the rope also must leave. That is, when one has rent asunder avidya or ignorance forever, then there is no need either to keep on remembering that I am the pure wisdom or the pure awareness. So ultimately, the awareness that I am self also must go, and it does go on its own, and the jnani exists forever in his sahaja sthiti as self, without having to be aware that I am self, or without having to announce that I have realized self. So, may we today, once for all, say goodbye to this often repeated rope-snake analogy. Once avidya is gone, then vidya in thoughts, awareness of my aware or my awareness state, that also has to leave ultimately. When I say I am aware, are we not creating a difference between I and aware? This duality must also go at the end. There is neither bondage, and therefore there is no need for liberation either. Any duality one can think of in the meditation stage, of course, not post realization. Any duality, name any, a million or a lakh or 1,000 or 100 dualities list down, all of them leaves a jnani. And he exists as the source of bliss. Thereafter, ever and ever. Hari Om Tat Sat.